Gojo Satoru, a character that represents both the strengths and weaknesses of having a character that's overpowered. He's strong, probably the strongest character in the entire series. He's really got this guy's powers without all the super hard to understand magic bullshit that goes on in that world. Just the super hard to understand magic bullshit of his own world, of which his is the most bullshit. Seeing him on screen is fan service. You could either get titties thrown into your face, or you could get Gojo thrown in your face. Doesn't matter, you'll still get hard. Since time immemorial, since the very birth of anime, the start of Chinese cartoons, the very origin of Mongolian cave paintings, there has been a consistent and present companion: power. Powerful characters are powerful, but to be overpowered means being more powerful than necessary for the story. Now I can bet you're thinking, why are you saying the obvious, dude? Well, that's the entire point of AniTube. But seriously, instantly grabbing attention, a shift in tone, the solution of a problem, the absurd feats, character commentary at their power, we see it again and again. The sphere is filled to the brim with overpowered characters. But that in of itself isn't the issue. Why do we approve of some characters but not others? Very few fans click away from One Punch Man whenever Saitama comes to solve a problem. But the same couldn't be said for one of the dozen isekais that come out in the season. It's the same for Jujutsu. In fact, Gojo is one of the most popular characters in that series. So, where the hell does that popularity come from anyway? Maybe, more importantly, why are they hated in the first place? The number one biggest issue with overpowered characters is the lack of tension whenever they appear on screen. The knowledge that they are able to deal with whatever issues appear in the story, whether that is with a gate filled with the entire works of mankind, or the ability to control one of the fundamental forces of the universe. Jujutsu Kaisen, while I don't consider it the cutting edge of shonen, more like the edge cutting, did manage to deal with it when it came to Gojo by simply getting rid of the idea right away. Fuck tension. Who the hell needs that crap anyway? Do we look like rubber bands? As soon as Gojo enters the scene, tension is removed. The mystery is focused elsewhere. The pressure is removed from the shoulders of the audience. Whether that is showing off his abilities, closing up a series of fights, or using someone's singular most important fight as a platform for a student field trip while shit talking his opponent.
大丈夫でしょ。だって君弱いもん。
Another Tuesday for Gojo. Yet, this lack of tension is building tension of his own. Gojo as the closer, as the strongest curse user in the world, is naturally the target and antagonist alongside Yuji. Plotted on, the target of his opponents, as well as the one who's supposed to stop Sukuna. It makes us question if he even can. Is he just being arrogant? Probably. But at the same time, he seems to outmatch the villains, the other students, other teachers, and the big bad who's currently possessing the protagonist through the world's most moldy tech. Yet, there's a change in season 2. Gojo takes on a new role. He and his team, with Suguru Geto taking center stage. The Gojo we get is different. While he's confident in his own strength, he isn't as strong, he isn't as wise, and he isn't as reliable. There is an uncomfortable feeling whenever he's cornered, or whenever something feels like it could happen, yet we feel that isn't possible because we still have a Gojo that is exceptionally strong. He isn't unmatched. While he has good senses, he isn't experienced. This was mirrored by his companion Geto, who is another talented student, his rival so to speak. They're made to seem like they are on the same level, if not very similar levels. But we see them get thrown into a fight we didn't believe they could win, yet hoped more than anything that they would. The two strongest came up against the weakest Jujutsu user, and yet that person was the strongest human. Out-experienced, outmatched, and overpowered. The uncomfortable feeling that we felt this entire time was tension. A feeling that the series had made us forget when it came to Gojo, even if he was a student again. In a way, because they were far stronger, they also felt far weaker than the current cast right now. They seem a lot more vulnerable than the current team. Gojo might be foremost among them, and this was only the first hint to fill us in on the background. Between the witty dialogue and great on-screen chemistry, I almost forgot this was a flashback, and yearned for more of the great scenes they were giving us. It's a different feeling to the usual Gojo appearance, the extra vulnerability, and the tension surrounding their relationships. Before we knew it, we no longer saw him as overpowered. He was just another high school boy trying his best. Sure, he was talented, arrogant, but he had a soft spot for people, he had friends he cared about. He was someone who gave a shit because he had to give a shit, even if he was strong. It flowed well, and I ended up watching this flashback of a show I considered mid in a single setting, then returned again. You know what else is mid? Not subscribing. Please click that big red button below. I won't tell you it's masterful, hell, it's more fun than anything, entertaining as it could have been. Mappa made it look great, the voice actor delivered their lines well, and the story gave us just what we needed, which was the rise and fall, the getting back up to his feet, and the realizations he made along the way. Perhaps the biggest tragedy in Satoru Gojo's life might well be his power, the mindset that spawned from it, and how the others around him were affected by it. It showed where the shift was, the experience that made him the character we know and love now. It was in Lost that he was born. They made sure to make it feel bitter for the audience, and they doubled down on it with Geto's arc. The realization that he couldn't just be strong, he had to be much more than that, which was the very reason why he bullied a young boy into becoming a Jujutsu user, or why he had taken a brat with a finger fetish under his wing, why he continuously seeks the strong from the next generation. It was the realization that as the strongest, he could only save those who would let him save them. Yet at the same time, we haven't forgiven Gojo's overpoweredness, because at its core, there was little to forgive. But all the same, while Gojo so far in season 2 feels earned, in season 1 when we lacked the context, we were lulled into that sense of safety. It was a long setup, and I imagine that setup will continually expand on itself until the payoff finally arrives. The tension has to snap at some point.